Imagine you are staring down an undefeated and overwhelmingly large army across the battlefield, and knowing that if you lose, it could mean the fall of your entire culture and civilization. This is the Battle of Marathon. One of the most significant military engagements in history. And it was a battle that took place in 490 BC between the forces of the Persian Empire and the city-state of Athens, aided by a small force from Plataea. At the time, the Persian Empire under King Darius I was rapidly expanding into Europe and the Aegean, having incorporated the Ionian cities, which were Greek colonies in Asia Minor. These Ionian Greeks revolted in 499 BC with the aid of Athens and Eretria, which eventually led to the Persian punitive expedition against them. The Ionian revolt lasted from 499 BC to 493 BC and ended in failure for the Greeks. This insurrection was critical because it set the stage for the Persian Wars. You see, as it turns out, when you lead a revolt against King Darius I, he might get a little bit angry and vow to punish all that went against him. And well, this time it was the Athenians and the Eretrians. In 490 BC, the Persians launched a massive campaign to subjugate Greece. The Persian force, consisting of infantry and cavalry, was transported across the Aegean Sea in a fleet of ships. The campaign's objective was to reclaim control over the renegade Aegean islands, punish Athens and Eretria, and further expand Persian dominance in the region. Realizing the severity of this threat, the Athenians sent runners to Sparta and virtually every other Greek state around. The Spartans promised to send help, but due to a religious festival, they would not be able to dispatch the forces immediately. So Athens was pretty much left to face the Persians all by themselves. At the beginning of the invasion, the Persians chose to land at Marathon, a plain about 26 miles northeast of Athens, which was suitable for their cavalry. The choice was strategic as it allowed a direct route to Athens and provided a good position to launch their attack. The Athenian and small Plataean forces, led by General Miltiades, decided to block the two exits from the plain of Marathon, trapping the Persians just by the sea. You see, Miltiades knew that challenging the Persians into open combat would be challenging due to the Persian numerical superiority. Therefore, he needed to devise a strategy that would neutralize the Persian cavalry's effectiveness and leverage the heavily armed Greek hoplites. The Athenian and Plataean allies that numbered about 10,000 or so men established their position in the foothills of the mountains surrounding the plains of Marathon, thereby negating the Persian advantage in cavalry. The Persians, led by Datis and Artaphernes, are thought to have numbered between 25,000 and 100,000 men, though ancient sources tend to greatly exaggerate these numbers. I've seen numbers as high as 500,000. But most historians agree that 25,000 to 100,000 Persian soldiers was the most likely number of men on the battlefield for the Persians. Miltiades, the Athenian commander, formed a traditional Greek phalanx with heavy infantry forming a shield wall with spears projecting outwards. The center of the phalanx was intentionally thinned to extend the line to match the width of the Persian front, while the flanks were reinforced to prevent encirclement. This was a risky move because at the center of the formation it would be vulnerable to a breakthrough. However, for several days the two armies stood in a stalemate. The Athenians were unwilling to descend onto the plain where Persian cavalry could engage effectively, while the Persians were cautious not to attack the Greek position where their numbers would be less advantageous. Meanwhile, the Persians also began a maneuver to send part of their fleet to attack Athens directly, hoping to draw the Athenian army away from Marathon. According to Herodotus, it was Miltiades who convinced the Athenian War Council to take the offensive. You see, the Athenians knew they couldn't afford a long siege, nor could they afford for the Persian army to just bypass the Athenian army and just go directly to Athens. Furthermore, the realization that the Persian cavalry was temporarily absent, possibly embarked on ships to facilitate the secondary attack on Athens, well, this prompted Miltiades to seize the moment of attack. In a revolutionary tactic, the Athenian and Plataean forces made an unprecedented decision to charge at the Persians instead of marching into the battle at a steady pace, which was the common practice of the day. They did so over approximately a mile of open ground, an exhausting and daring approach that risked breaking their formation before even engaging the enemy. As the Greek forces charged, the Persian archers released volleys of arrows, but the speed and determination of the Greek advance limited the effectiveness of the archery. Once the Greek phalanx reached the Persian lines, the heavier armor and longer spears of the Greeks, combined with their tight formation, gave them a crucial advantage over their more lightly equipped Persian infantry. This phase of the Battle of Marathon was crucial. It represented the Athenians' strategic gamble in their willingness to engage in a pitched battle against a larger force. It also set the stage for the hand-to-hand combat that would decide the rest of the battle. The third part of the Battle of Marathon involves the crucial turning point of the conflict. As the battle raged on, the reinforced Athenian flanks comprised of the city's strongest hoplites succeeded in breaking through the Persian lines. The weaker Athenian center, composed of the less well-armored and less experienced troops, held out long enough against the elite Persian units, but eventually gave ground, performing a controlled retreat as part of Miltiades' plan. With the Athenian center faltering, the Persian troops pressed forward, likely believing they were close enough for a breakthrough. However, this advance turned into overextension. The Persian troops found themselves pushed further into the encirclement as the Greek flanks, having routed their opposing wings, turned inward. The Athenian wings, having dispelled the enemy forces before them, executed a well-coordinated inward turn, encircling the Persian center from both sides. This envelopment tactic was a common goal in ancient battles, but difficult to achieve in practice. The Athenian success from this maneuver was a pivotal moment, thereby trapping the Persian forces in a vice that there was little hope for escape. The encirclement caused panic and confusion within the Persian ranks. The disciplined Greek hoplites pressed their advantage, and the battle turned into a rout. The Persians, recognizing their perilous situation, began to break ranks and retreat towards their ships. The retreat quickly became disorganized, and the Athenians pursued the fleeing Persians aggressively, cutting down many in the field. However, the battle did not end with the retreat. It continued on the beaches, where the Persian ships were anchored. The Athenians attempted to capture or destroy the Persian fleet, leading to fierce hand-to-hand combat at the water's edge. The Persians fought desperately to try to board their ships and escape, while the Greeks aimed to capitalize on their success by inflicting further casualties and seizing or burning Persian vessels. With the Persians in full retreat and many killed on the beaches, that was when finally the battle came to an end. The Athenians had won a decisive victory. They had managed to kill approximately 6,400 Persians while losing only 192 of their own men. At least those were the numbers that were reported by Herodotus. Those numbers could be wildly inaccurate, but they're the only source that we have to go on. And one of the most famous legends to come from this battle was that of Phidippides, the Athenian runner who had sent to Sparta to request help before the battle. After the victory, he allegedly ran the distance from Marathon to Athens, which is approximately 26 miles, to bring news of the victory and warn of the possibility of a Persian attack on the city from the sea. Upon delivering his message, he is said to have collapsed and died from exhaustion, and this legend became the basis for the modern marathon race today. The victory at Marathon had very significant strategic implications. It proved that the mighty Persian army, seemingly invincible until that point, could be defeated by a well-organized hoplite army. This boosted Greek morale and deterred further Persian incursions for a time. Athens then emerged as a stronger city-state, enjoying a boost in prestige and confidence. But the Battle of Marathon was just the opening round for the Greco-Persian Wars and set the stage for the continued struggle between Greece and Persia. It emboldened the Greeks, particularly the Athenians, who would go on to build a powerful navy that would eventually be instrumental in their victory against the Persians in later battles such as Salamis. However, the Battle of Marathon left a lasting legacy in Greek culture, becoming a symbol of democratic Athens' triumph over a despotic empire. It was celebrated by the Greeks and became a foundational myth for Athens, contributing to the city's golden age. The battle also underscored the effectiveness of the Greek hoplite phalanx and their citizen soldier in the defense of one's homeland, ideas that would resonate throughout Greek history and beyond. The victory gave greater prominence to Miltiades, who became a hero in Athens. However, his later career suffered due to a failed campaign, and he eventually fell from grace. More broadly, the Battle of Marathon helped consolidate the Athenian democracy, as the shared struggle and victory against Persia bolstered civic pride and collective identity. In the grander narrative of Western civilization, the Battle of Marathon is often seen as a key event that helped preserve the intrinsic democratic values of Athens, which may have been crushed under Persian rule. The cultural, political, and ideological implications of the battle have been discussed and romanticized by historians and scholars for centuries, marking the Battle of Marathon as a pivotal point in the history of Europe. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to click on this playlist to see some more of my videos that are just like this. And please hit that notification bell and subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this. Anyways, I'm Jack Chappell. Thanks for watching.